Mr. Add-on? Oh, jeez. That's me. Yes? Nice to meet you. Like the confidence. Gotta tell you straight off, lass. I took one look at this resume, and I was blown away. What's the M stand for? Minute.
Why don't you tell me a bit about yourself?
It's all on the resume. Well, there is a bit here. Says you disarmed a bomb underneath a hospital. Is that true? You have much experience disarming explosives? Yeah, I was there. Oh, well, but you did it, right? I was there, yeah. But you actually disarmed it. Well, the hero type guy actually did it, but I was there. Okay. And the triple terrorist tackle on the train to Taiwan, that was you? Well, I was there. I'm sorry, you were... Is there anything on this resume that you actually did? I was there for every accomplishment on this resume. But did you actually do any of it? Well, okay, I see. You're hiring for technical support staff. That's literally my previous job title, supporting character. I'm so supportive. Well, if you have nothing to show for yourself, wait. I think we're done here, Mr. Add-on. Whoa, where did they come from? We're the rest of the supporting cast. Get out, all of you! Go support each other somewhere else. Hey, writing gang. Justin Addis, aka the Roadside Writer here. Have you ever seen a character like Last Add-on? They're not the main character, so they can't seem to find the purpose in the story. No backbone, no accomplishments to their name. Yeah, these are badly written supporting characters. If you've already seen my 2-minute writing help video about supporting characters, you know how I feel about this. What a waste. If a story is full of characters like this, it not only blows a great opportunity to explore the world in conflict, but it invites the dangerous plot hole. Because in real life, people support one another. If your protagonist or antagonist faces some gigantic hurdle completely alone, despite the presence of supporting characters in the story, your readers are going to poke plot holes in every resulting situation. Today, we're going to go over 3 fun writing activities to help you craft complex, intriguing supporting characters who share a sliver of the spotlight and plug every plot hole. Heck, they might even qualify for their own spin-off title. Remember to grab a pen and paper so you can do these activities with me. Or, fresh from the Roadside Writer Press, there's now a worksheet available to go with this video. Just pause here, scroll on down to the description below, and follow the Google Doc link in the description. From now on, when I do these interactive activity writing videos, I'm going to be including a worksheet so that you can actually follow along exactly with the examples I'm giving and the activities I'm doing. And as time goes on, there's going to be a lot of these, and fishing through your YouTube search history or my old videos to find that one particular worksheet you needed is going to become a pain. I don't want that to happen to you guys. So, as an added benefit of being faithful subscribers, I'm going to provide to you now growing library of worksheets absolutely free. All you have to do is go to my website, www.justinaddis.com, and type your email address into the banner of any page. It looks like this. And there you go. You're on my email list, and I can email you the Google Doc link, not just to the particular one worksheet, but the folder that has all of the worksheets in it. Don't worry, I'm not going to spam you or anything just because you're on my email list. The only thing you'll ever get from me is my weekly newsletter and opportunities for you to learn more about writing. With that out of the way, here come 3 fun interactive activities to help you create stellar supporting characters. I dare you to complete them all and tell me you didn't have fun doing it. These activities can also be thought about as 3 questions about your supporting characters you need to answer. So I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and at the end of the video, by completing the activities, you'll have 3 answers with some subparts. So on to activity 1. Why are they here? This question can also be thought about as, what problem does this character solve in the story? There should be a reason why this supporting character is in is in the story, why they're essential, and it couldn't go on without them. This is also another great example of how a story can kind of build itself. If you've been using my approach to storytelling, have you started work on your conflict with one of my other writing help videos? Perfect. Take a look at some of your protagonist's roadblocks on the way to their goal. Pick one. Then give this supporting character a specific skill that makes them a valuable ally to overcome this roadblock. Maybe this supporting character offers physical training or their own muscle. Maybe this supporting character gives your main character some insight or inspiration to try a new approach to a complicated problem. The possibilities are limited only by the rules of your world and your creative flexibility. If you haven't started work on your conflict or your protagonist's roadblocks yet, that's okay too. You can reverse engineer this process to start with your supporting character's skill and use that to help you build your conflict later on. So if that's you, you're starting with your supporting character, pick a skill, any old skill. It could be an excess of charisma and negotiation skills, it could be physical strength or gambling expertise. Whatever you pick, make sure when you're working on your conflict later that you drop a situation into it which makes this supporting character essential or at least contributing to the resolution. And it's important to note that this skill shouldn't just come in handy once in the story. You're going to have to create at least 2 situations, one big and one small, in which this particular skill helps resolve part of the conflict. This is also part of the reason why you'll see on the worksheet I'm actually having you complete this activity twice, so that your characters don't end up getting defined by their one skill. So to put this activity in a neat little box, you're going to first pick your skill for your supporting character, then choose an aspect of your conflict that this skill resolves or influences. Then you're going to create one major event in which your supporting character's skill either resolves the conflict or influences it, and a minor event where this happens. Major event can be as big as defeating the antagonist, minor event can be as small as a passing conversation. And remember to have fun.
I'm going to go over with you now 2 examples of this activity that I came up with myself. It doubles as a demonstration on how to fill out the worksheet. So I'm first going to give you an example that's not so great, and then an example that is far superior. And the way I'll do this is working my way down the list using the not so great examples as they'll all be tied together. And then I'll give you a list of better examples that are also tied together. To start, the character's skill in this situation is going to be that he has high intelligence. There are a few reasons why this isn't a great skill to pick for your character right out the gate.
People tend to have specific intelligence, not just intelligence in general. Nobody knows a lot about everything. People are generally specialists. The problem that this high intelligence solves in the story is that the character thinks of solutions the protagonist cannot. Now, this not only makes your protagonist seem a little weak-minded, but it also lends itself to your supporting character being kind of a trope. It sounds an awful lot like the typical idea guy. The one who always comes up with the plan. Yeah, you don't want any one character in your story to fit into a mold like that. And down here, where looking at the major event that's influenced, you can see this supporting character makes an advanced ray gun to vaporize the antagonist. Now, this makes it seem like the supporting character is actually the one that resolves the entire conflict, and the protagonist doesn't need to do much. Plus, it opens the door to many plot holes, like if this supporting character could make a ray gun to vaporize people, why didn't he do that in the first place? The minor event that's influenced by this supporting character's skill of high intelligence is that the character outsmarts everyone at social gatherings for fun. This character is going to come off as a jerk, and absolutely a trope. This is the type of character you could describe in 2 words. Smart guy. There's nothing else to him. All he does is invent high-tech gadgets, come up with plans, and outsmart everyone. He is basically a walking stereotype and not the kind of character that's actually going to support your plot at all. So, now let's take a look at some better examples. A better example of a skill for my supporting character here is that he has vast experience playing a story-specific game called interdimensional checkers. This is kind of what I was talking about before. You can have somebody who's an intelligent character, but very few people are intelligent all around on all subjects. Most people have a specialty, and this guy's specialty happens to be interdimensional checkers. Or at least one of them, because this is a sci-fi story, which is mostly what I write. So,
the problem it solves in the story is that this supporting character becomes a mentor for the protagonist on his way to becoming a contender in an interdimensional checkers tournament himself. Maybe there's a point at which the protagonist needs a prize from an interdimensional checkers tournament. The inclusion of this character and this skill then becomes essential to this plot point being resolved. The major event that's influenced is this supporting character is going to secure a victory against a key opponent in the interdimensional checkers tournament. So not only is he mentoring the protagonist, but he's actually going to knock out a few contenders himself. A supporting character's role doesn't always have to be passive and helping the protagonist solve every problem. They can solve a couple problems themselves. And the minor situation that's influenced by this supporting character's skill is that he spends many nights tutoring the protagonist on interdimensional checkers. And during those sessions, they share conversations about patience and discipline. This offers character development for both the supporting character and the protagonist, and offers a kind of casual human touch in a science fiction environment, which can sometimes seem very alien compared to our own world. Now, you're actually going to complete this activity again. You'll notice if you're using the worksheet that if you scroll down, there's a second series of prompts to do a skill, the problem, the major event, and the minor event. And the reason that you do this activity twice is so that your supporting character doesn't become defined by their one skill. For instance, my supporting character, I don't want him to just be the checker player. So I'll leave these slides here for you to pause and review another example of filling out this activity for the same character, just a second skill so he doesn't become too much of a trope. Once you've completed this activity twice, unpause and get ready for activity 2. For activity 2, you're going to answer the question, why does this supporting character want your protagonist to win? And this is basically the defining factor of someone being a supporting character. If this character doesn't want your protagonist to succeed, then they're not a supporting character. They're either an antagonist or someone who supports the antagonist. In our last activity, we picked a skill for your supporting character. Never mistake that for their personality. That's a little bit of what you're going to shape here with this activity. Basically, you're going to choose the type of bond that your protagonist and your supporting character share, and then you're going to expand on it and make it specific. And this will help shape their personality because it's going to directly govern the chemistry between your protagonist and your supporting character. So the question to ask yourself is, why are they helping your main character? Are they childhood friends? That might be reason enough for them to work together. And that would be, and on your worksheet, you'll see that referred to as type 1 of a bond, and that would be the emotional benefit. That these characters are friends, so of course they're going to support one another. And the benefit of this kind of bond is that these characters can potentially be really honest and raw with each other. On the opposite end of that spectrum is type 3, which would be obligation. This supporting character is contracted to help your protagonist and doesn't have a choice. Maybe it's by a mutual employer, maybe it's by an ancient crow beast that cursed him to serve the third son of every generation of your protagonist's family. Your protagonist and this particular supporting character maybe can hardly stand each other. This can lead to a lot of interesting character interactions and development as everything from moral code to lifestyle choices kind of grates together and they struggle to find that compromise, that happy middle ground where they can both succeed. And there's also the type 2 bond, which I skipped over, which is that there's a goal-oriented or a practical benefit for the supporting character. For whatever reason, if the protagonist achieves their goal, it helps the supporting character achieving their own individual separate goal. So for activity 2, you're going to choose the type of bond that your supporting character and your protagonist have, and then you're going to get really detailed about it. Once you've decided how these characters are connected, type of relationship, then you're going to make the specifics. For instance, instead of just saying, oh, they're obligated to help each other, you would go to the more specific crow beast or mutual employer route. You're basically drafting the background of how these characters are connected or how they're going to become connected as the story goes on. Pause at the prompt to complete the activity while I do the same, and then when we come back from this brief break, I will go over 2 examples with you, one that's not so great and one that's much better. So for my first example, which isn't the greatest,
I picked reason type 1, which is that the protagonist and supporting character are already friends at the onset of the story. So now I go on to my specific explanation, which reads that they attended the same intergalactic daycare. Now, this is all well and good as a baseline for a character's pre-existing relationship in a story, but there's just not enough meat on the bones here. Plenty of people could attend the same daycare and not turn out to be great friends or have that deep of an emotional bond. So you just need overall more information than this. You need to think of a couple specific experiences or a stronger reason why these characters are still friends after so long. So we're going to cross that out and go on to a better example. So in this better example, I picked reason type 2. And the reasons I'm using in this activity as examples now are corresponding to the character I began with activity 1. So it's all one cohesive character, just like you should be making. So for this character, the reason he wants my protagonist to succeed is because would be type 2, and that is that it benefits the supporting character for the protagonist to succeed. This is my specific explanation as to why it benefits the supporting character for my protagonist to succeed are the supporting character is married to someone from an alien race who's currently under extreme cultural scrutiny. People are really racist towards this guy's wife. He believes that if the protagonist succeeds in gaining some celebrity, then maybe together they can help shape the cultural current to be more accepting. So you can see how the protagonist's success directly supports the goal of the supporting character, and why they would naturally support one another. And now moving on to activity 3, you're going to answer the question, why should I hire them? Meaning this particular supporting character. And yes, it means what you think it means. We are going to be crafting a resume for this supporting character, just like we saw in the intro, although we're going to do it much better than Mr. Add-on did. It's actually a really good idea to think of every character in your story having to interview to get into it, to get the job. There should be a good reason why they're there. They should be well qualified for the position they have in your story. So this is a really good analogy to kind of think of every time you brainstorm a new character. Having an undeveloped character in your main cast is, after all, a lot like having an underqualified employee at a job. That person's going to bring the rest of the cast down and reduce the overall quality of the workplace, or in this case, the story. So let's write up a resume for your supporting character to make sure that they're the right fit for this position. The resume should show them not only as someone who's necessary, but someone who has some depth and offers something a notch above what anyone else could do in that position. Let's go over some categories that you're going to fill out for your character on this resume. First, you're going to start with a list of skills, just like the first activity, but this time it's just going to be a straight list. You don't have to expand on them. So you can include the 2 skills that you chose for activity 1, but also list as many skills that you can think of that you want this supporting character to have. Not all of them have to be central to the plot. After that, you're going to list what kind of prior experience this supporting character has that makes them a good candidate to be in your story. What have they already been through in their past, or what are they going to go through at the onset of the story that makes them a good fit to support your protagonist. The next category on your supporting character's resume is going to be accomplishments. These can be things that the supporting character has accomplished before the story starts, or things that they will accomplish as the story goes on. And finally, you're going to give your supporting character 2 references that would unquestionably recommend them to join the protagonist team. You can use any character in the story as a reference for your supporting character, except for the protagonist. This ensures that your supporting character isn't just a tool in a tool belt, that they have their own personal connections with other people. Good examples of characters you can use as references for your supporting character are maybe their parents, their spouse, a good friend, a former teacher, some kind of tertiary, very minor character who may appear in the story either briefly in person or just through a story, who would vouch for this supporting character. Also adds some depth to your world and creates a wider social web between your characters. Pause at the prompt to fill out this resume under activity 3 on your worksheet. That helps the supporting characters stand out and shine on their own a little bit. And just the fact that you can use resume building skills to help you plot an awesome complex story
is evidence and a reminder that there really is a little bit of magic in every little everyday thing. I hope that was the most fun you've ever had drafting a resume before. So let's go over 2 examples. I'll give you one that's not so great and one that is pretty great. For skills, for my supporting character, I chose incredible strength, unmatched agility, and charisma and negotiation. Now, there's a couple reasons why these skills aren't the best for a supporting character. One, it gives them way too much of an edge over every other character in the story. Somebody who's super strong, super fast, and can talk their way out of any situation can pretty much solve every problem in the plot. This person will come off as really unrealistic and a huge plot hole because they're not in any way believable. Then down here for past experience, I listed that my supporting character is passionate about interdimensional checkers and is very competitive. That's all well and good as a detail for their character, but it's definitely not the kind of past experience that would land you a job if you were applying to be a supporting character. This piece of information belongs more so in a skill section than it does in past experience. Under accomplishments, you can see that this not-so-great character is going to teach the protagonist how to play interdimensional checkers and translate alien texts for him. Are you noticing a pattern here? That it's not particularly good to make your characters usable, where the protagonist can kind of call on them when they need to and then tuck them away behind the curtain? Your supporting character should offer more to your protagonist than just accomplishing one type of specific task. If all this character is used for is to dominate the interdimensional checkerboard and translate alien texts, he might as well not be a living character, but instead be some kind of brain augment. Think emotion. The things they accomplish in the story should carry some emotional weight. Under references, you can see that this supporting character uses the protagonist and his own detained spouse as references. Now, number one, I broke my own rule here of not using the protagonist because we want to widen our social web of our story. But also, the character's detained spouse might not be the best reference. Just like for a good job, you want to pick someone who has the grounds to show you in a positive light. If this supporting character's spouse is detained in some alien prison somewhere, they're not interacting. Her presence in the story isn't necessarily going to show this supporting character in a great light, unless you craft the story to do so, like having them reunite, or having her refuse questioning to locate her husband, the outlawed alien sympathizer. So let's go over some better examples. Skills for my new and improved supporting character include interdimensional checkers expertise and space religion knowledge, as we mentioned earlier. But I also added that he's well versed in alien language and he's socially adept with many different cultures. These skills not only give him the ability to solve many different specific problems in the conflict, but also to offer emotional and social support to the other characters. It shows him as more than just a brain and problem solver. Under past experience, I revamped my supporting character with this little gem. He grew up in a healthy nuclear family, and he really wanted to have this with his alien wife, but it was taken from him. As a result of this, he sort of fills the void of family with the protagonist, operating as both a mentor and a guardian. This detail also could serve as a sort of character flaw. Maybe the protagonist doesn't see this character as a guardian figure and isn't appreciative of the advice that comes his or her way. This can stir up a lot of interesting chemistry and character development. Under accomplishments, this new and improved supporting character is going to offer insight and understanding into cultures and races beyond the protagonist's experience. He's going to guide the main character towards being a mediator and advocate for the oppressed. So, going to help shape the protagonist's character development. This is a really important job of supporting characters, and not every single one can shape the main character the same way. Think of your supporting characters as forces that are going to pull your main character in many different directions and cause them to grow all around. And the references for my new and improved supporting character include his first ever interdimensional checkers teacher and another supporting character who is also of a ridiculed alien race. This really widens your perspective of who the supporting character is. You get a little glimpse into their background if this interdimensional checkers teacher who knew the supporting character when he was just a student, and another supporting character, you can't really beat that. It offers a really wide, overall great look into this person's character, and having those two strong references proves that he belongs in this story. Whew, I hope you had as much fun with those activities as I did. Crafting my supporting cast is actually one of my favorite parts of making a story. I tend to think of the protagonist as the skull of the story, an antagonist as the ass, and the supporting characters and world are everything in between. All of those parts are equally important to forming one cohesive literary body. What I want you all to do now, after you finish watching this video and completing the activities, is scroll on down to the comments and leave your supporting character below. You don't have to explain the whole guy or gal, just maybe their name and a couple details about them that you came up with today. A few of you have told me that you've already started plotting a story using my videos as a guideline, and I can't tell you how much that means to me. That's all I want out of this, is that you guys find a new joy in storytelling and build your writing skills. And it helps me too to teach it. So comment your supporting character idea below. I'd love to hear it and offer my support any way I can. Speaking of support, thanks to your support, I'm actually working on my first ever instructional course to help you guys even more with writing. These courses are basically an extension of what I do in my videos. They'll be a little more instructional, a little less comedic, but still fun. There's been an expression of wanting more of what I do in my videos, so that's exactly what I'm going to deliver with these courses. Probably be available within a month or two for $75. And if you want updates on how development on the course is going, and to know when it's actually going to be available and where to purchase it, make sure that you visit my website, www.justinaddis.com, and subscribe to my email list in the banner on any page so I can send you updates about the courses and other writing help opportunities. And if you'd like to support my fun writing help and schooly escapades, like what I do here on YouTube, more courses, more ebooks, there's a lot of different ways to do that. You can download my first ebook, Strand the Silver Radio, which is still free on special on Amazon. And now you can also become a patron by visiting my Patreon, which I'll leave in the description below, along with the links for everything I referenced in my video today. Thank you to all of you guys who support me and what I do with The Roadside Writer. I wouldn't be able to do it without you. I never would have thought to make an instructional course without your guys' support. So thank you so much for that. Remember, you can find the link to the worksheet that we used in the video today down in the description. But if you'd like access to the whole library of worksheets that I'm going to be releasing with each one of these interactive activity videos, visit the website, justinaddis.com, put your email address into the banner on any page, and boom, you'll get a link emailed to you, which will take you to the library of worksheets. Always remember to subscribe, hit the like button and the bell icon, and thank you guys so much for watching. Roadside Writer, out.